In a small village of Adelan, nestled between tall mountains and thick forests, lived a man named Akachi. Once Akachi was a great warrior, known for his strength and bravery. He fought many battles to protect his people, but those days were behind him. Akachi had put down his sword and became a pastor, hoping to find peace and forgiveness of his past. The village of Adelan was quiet and beautiful. The children played by the river, the farmers worked in the fields, and everyone knew each other. Despite its peaceful appearance, the village had its troubles. Strange things began happening in the forest. Animals disappeared, and noise echoed through the trees at night. The villagers grew scared and whispered about dark force at work. One Sunday afternoon, Akachi was attending his small garden behind the church. He enjoyed the simple work, feeling the warmth of the sun on his back. But his peaceful moment was interrupted by a young boy named Kofi. He came running towards him, breathless and wide-eyed. "Pastor Akachi! Pastor Akachi!" Kofi shouted. Akachi stood up, wiping his hand on his trousers. "What is it, Kofi? Why are you so out of breath?" "It's my sister, Amara. She's missing. She went into the forest to pick berries and hasn't come back." Akachi's heart sank. He knew the forest well. It was a place of both beauty and danger. Without wasting another moment, he grabbed his walking stick and followed Kofi to the edge of the forest. The villagers gathered, worried, etched on their faces. "We must find Amara," Akachi said, trying to sound calm. "Everyone stay together and be careful. We don't know what is out there." As they ventured into the forest, the tall trees cast long shadows on the ground. The air was cool and filled with the sound of the rustling leaves and distant animal calls. Akachi led the way, his eyes scanning the surrounding for any sign of Amara. The forest seemed too close around them, the path becoming narrower and darker. After what felt like hours, they found Amara's basket filled with scattered berries. Akachi knelt down, picking up the basket and looking around. He noticed a strange tracking led deeper into the forest. They were unlike any animal trackers he had seen before. "Look at those," he said, showing the trackers to others. "These aren't from any animal I know. We must be careful." The villagers nodded, fear growing in their hearts. They continued following the tracks. The forest grew thicker and the light dimmer. Suddenly, a loud roar echoed through the trees, making everyone jump. Akachi tightened his grip on his stick, his warrior instincts kicking. "Stay behind me," he ordered, moving towards the sound. As they approached a large ancient tree, they saw something that made their blood run cold. A massive shady figure stood there, its eye glowing in red. In its grasp was Amara, struggling to break free. The creature snarled, bowing its sharp teeth. "Let her go," Akachi shouted, stepping forward. The creature laughed. a chilling sound that sent shivers down everyone's spine. "You think you can stop me, old warrior?" it touted. "You are weak now." Akachi's mind raced. He knew he couldn't fight the creature with just his stick. He needed a plan. Remembering his days as a warrior, he decided to use his wits instead of his brute force. "Release her and I will give you something in return," Akachi said, trying to keep his voice steady. The creature tilted his head, curious. "And what could you possibly offer me?" "Take me instead," Akachi said, his heart pounding. "Let it go and I will come to you." The villagers gasped, but Akachi silenced them with a look. The creature seemed to consider his offer, its eyes narrowing. "Very well," it said finally, "but I know this old warrior will never see your village again." With that, it released Amara, who ran to her brother, tears streaming down her face. Akachi took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to face whatever fate waits for him. The creature grabbed him with its cold, powerful claws, and they disappeared into the darkness, leaving the villagers stunned and afraid. The forest grew silent as the villagers stood in shock, watching Akachi disappear with a shadowy creature. Amara clung to her brother, tears streaming down her face. The villagers began to murmur among themselves, unsure of what to do next. "We have to save him," Kofi said, his voice trembling but determined. "We can't just leave Pastor Akachi with that monster." The village elder, a wise old woman named Nika, stepped forward. "Kofi is right. Akachi sacrificed himself for Amara. We all ate to him to try and bring him back." The villagers nodded in agreement, their fear turning to resolve. They quickly gathered supplies and weapons, ready to venture into the forest. Nika led the way, her knowledge of the forest and its secret guiding them. Meanwhile, Akachi found himself in a dark, cold cave. The creature's grip on him was unrelenting as it dragged him deeper into the shadows. The air was damp and filled with the smell of the moss and decay. Akachi's mind raced as he tried to think of a way to escape. "Why are you doing this?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The creature did not answer immediately. Instead, it stopped and turned to face Akachi, its red eyes glowing in the darkness. "You are a warrior who has turned his back on his true nature," it said. "You seek peace, but the darkness within you cannot be denied." Akachi frowned, struggling to understand. "I have changed. I'm no longer the man I used to be." The creature laughed, a cruel sound that echoed through the cave. "You cannot change what you are, Akachi. The darkness is part of you, and it will consume you." As the creature spoke, Akachi felt a strange sensation within him. Memories of his past battles and violence he once embraced flooded his mind. He shook his head, trying to push them away. "No, I will not let it. I have found a new path." The creature seemed to grow hungrier. "We shall see," it hissed, dragging Akachi further into the cave. Back in the village, Neka and others following the strange tracks, their torches casting flickering shadows on the forest floor. The farther they went, the more uneasy they felt. The forest seemed to come alive around them, whispering and rustling with unseen dangers. Suddenly, they heard a faint sound like a distant echo of Akachi's voice. Kofi's heart leapt with hope. That's him. We have to hurry. They quickened their pace, the sound growing louder and clearer. It led them to the entrance of the dark cave, hidden behind thick vines and overgrown bushes. The villagers exchanged nervous glances, but Nika stepped forward without hesitation. Stay close, she instructed, leading the way to the cave. The cave was cold and damp, the air heavy with smell of earth and wood. Their torches flickered, casting shadows on the wall. As they ventured deeper, they could hear the creature's voice. You cannot escape your true nature, Akachi. The darkness will consume you. Neka held up her hand, signaling for everyone to stop. She turned to Kofi and whispered, We need a plan. We cannot fight the creature head on. We must outstand it. Kofi nodded, thinking quickly, what if we create a distraction? Something to draw its attention away from Akachi so we can rescue him. Neka smiled, impressed by Kofi's bravery and a good plan. We will use the torches to create diversion. When the creature is distracted, we will grab Akachi and run. They quickly set their plan into motion. Neka and few others crept closer to the creature, their torches ready. Kofi and the rest stayed hidden, waiting for the right moment. As Neka and her group approached, they waved their torches wildly, shouting and making noise. The creature snarled, turning its attention away from Akachi. What is this? It roared. Kofi seized the opportunity. He and others rushed to Akachi's side, freeing him from the creature's grasp. Akachi stepped to his feet, his strength returning. Thank you, he whispered, his voice filled with gratitude. They hurried towards the cave entrance, but the creature realized what was happening. It roared in anger, charging after them. The villagers ran as fast as they could, the creature's footsteps thundering behind them. Just as they reached the entrance, the creature lunged at them, its claws sweeping through the air. Akachi turned, his warrior instincts taking over. He grabbed a foreign branch and swung it with all his might, hitting the creature and sending it crashing to the ground. Go! Akachi shouted to others. I will hold it off. Nika and the villagers hesitated, but Akachi's fierce determination convinced them. They ran out of the cave, and the light of their torch guiding them back to the village. Akachi stood his ground, facing the creature and mourned the man that I used to be. After winning over the creature, he went back to the village as a hero and continued to preach the word of God. Guys, all I can say about this story is telling us that you are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your failures. You are not defined by your struggles. You are not defined by the philosophies of our culture. You're who God says you are. Point blank, period. That doesn't change. This man changed from being a warrior, he used to kill people. He used to do violent things. But at the end of the day, he was a changed man. He faced this challenge, but still he was a changed man. The creature wanted him to do what he used to do, but he refused. He stood his ground. So you who God created you to be, no one can change that. People cannot define you. Your past may have marked you, but it's not powerful enough to define you. Someone may have said something that is hurting, maybe your parents, and it will take time for you to get out of that unhealthy situation. But I want you guys to know that you who God says you are, that doesn't change. So I believe that you have enjoyed this video. Please give a thumb up to this video, like, share, comment. Bye bye. See you in my next video.